Okay. All right, y'all. This case that I'm looking at right now is ads. Okay. This is the Crime Watch Daily video I'm gonna get into that led me to look up all this other stuff about this mom. Okay. Cause this is ridiculous. Like, I got a lot of questions. Because some stuff's not adding up here. It says Katrina Banks, that's her name, Virginia mother shot dead in basement, allegedly by husband. This happened back in 2016. The body of Katrina Banks, 35, was found by Enrico, Virginia police officers about 12:15 a.m. on 11. Says Katrina and her husband were having an argument at their tri-level Richmond, Virginia home, which is where the incident occurred. According to reports, Alvin E. Banks, who was 47 and he was 46, not 40. He might have turned 47. Nonetheless, he told police officers that he grabbed his firearm, made his way to the foyer of his home, and began firing off shots. Now, I want y'all to remember that he said this. He told police that he grabbed his firearm, made his way to the foyer of his home, and began firing shots. That's what he told police at that time. Katrina Banks was at the bottom level when she was shot and killed. So if you are in the foyer of your home, which is on the level where the door is, the front door is. If I'm not mistaken, the foyer is where the front door is. I could be wrong, but the foyer leads to the front door. Am I wrong? Let me look this up real quick. The foyer leads to the front door of the home. Foyer. The entrance hall, or other open area in the building used by the public. An entrance hall. So that means when you come into your house, you're going to walk upon the foyer. When you enter your house, you're going to walk upon the foyer. So when he says he made his way to the foyer of the home, I'm thinking that he's walking towards where the door is, the entrance door, the front door to the home. That's where I'm thinking. But if he was firing shots in this area of the home, and it says Katrina was at the bottom level when she was shot and killed. How did she get struck if he made his way to the foyer of the home? I'm confused. Out of the 5 shots that Alvin fired that evening, this is interesting too. Out of the 5 shots that Alvin fired that evening, 1 bullet made its way through a plastic accordion style door. What the hell? Accordion style door. I'm looking up the door so I can show y'all an image of what it looks like. So here's what the door would look like. An accordion style door would look like this. It's plastic. So I can see how a bullet would go through that door. Anyway, accordion style door and into a bedroom downstairs where Katrina and their 2-year-old daughter just happened to be. Now, if he's shooting downstairs, then he would have to be shooting downward, in a downward direction. In order for a bullet to go through that door, he would have to be shooting in a downward direction. If he says that he was in the foyer of his home, And if she's downstairs, that would mean you would have to fire in a downward position, because the basement is on the bottom of the floor where she was. This says he told police that he grabbed his firearm and made his way to the foyer of the home. That's not in the same, to me, that's not in the same direction as where the wife was. The wife was in the basement. I don't know the layout of his house, but I do know that the basement and the foyer are not in the same areas. The basement is below the foyer. So if you grab your firearm and you say you walk towards the foyer, how did your wife get shot in the basement? I'm confused. All right. So it says out of the 5 shots that Alvin fired, 1 made it through the door of the bedroom where Katrina was. It went through that door. But if you're firing from the foyer of your home, how the hell did the bullet go through that door? I'm so confused right now. Okay. It says where Katrina and their 2-year-old daughter just so happened to be. So you're telling me you just randomly fired off this gun that went through this bedroom door where you knew your wife and your 2-year-old was at? How is that not reckless? You knew they were in that bedroom and you chose to fire off shots in the house? Like, and if you knew your toddler was in that bedroom, why the hell would you fire off a shot that even if your target, you saying nobody was a target, you're saying he shot the rounds off to end the argument. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on, y'all. It says the toddler was sleeping at the time, but the bullet hit Katrina in her lung and spine. So let me get this straight. You want us to believe that you were not aiming at Katrina, that you were just firing off random shots, but that one of the bullets hit her in her lung and spine. It says Alvin apparently shot 3 shots into the air. He shot 3 shots into the air and 2 at a lower level. Where was he when he shot these 3 shots into the air? Because according to him, he told police he was in the foyer of his home. You mean to tell me you're in the foyer area, which is not in the basement? You're in the foyer area of your home and you're shooting off shots. It says here that you supposedly shot off 3 in this area. And then you shot 2 on the lower level. Now, were you in the basement when you shot these 2? Or were you still in the foyer when you shot these 2? There's no way this man is going to get me to believe that he shot 3 shots in the air in the foyer of his home. But 2 of those shots made it to the basement. Or I don't know if they saw the casings or the bullet holes from the lower level, but something's not right with this story. I'm confused. He told investigators that he's fired the shots during an argument as a getaway stop thing. Who the fuck does that? You in an argument with a woman you supposedly love, like a woman you supposedly in a relationship with, a marriage, not a relationship. You're in a marriage. Everybody thinks y'all are good and there's no problems, but you get in a heated argument with her, and in an attempt to get her to stop arguing with you, you go grab a gun. Who go gets a gun in an argument? Even if you brandishing the gun to scare somebody, why would you do this to your wife? Why would you go get a gun? When somebody sees a gun, they feel threatened. I don't give a fuck if you pointing it at them or not. You go get a gun in the middle of an argument? Who does that? So that's the only way the argument could have ended, is by you going to grab a gun? and shooting off in the air? How is that responsible as somebody who was supposedly in the Marine and was an expert shooter? How in the world does that make sense? You're shooting off random shots to stop an argument with your wife, but your kids are home? So you didn't think that if you brandished a gun out, pulled a gun out, shot bullets, that you could potentially scare your children or hit your children? You didn't think about that at all. That wasn't even in your mind at all. You were just hell bent on ending this argument that got you in such a heated place that you would go and get a gun to end it? Alvin had just returned home from a trip out of town when Katrina confronted him about a few phone calls he'd made. Katrina had found out that he contacted her cousin, Roxanne, and wanted to know if there was something else going on. Now, why would she think that? Why would she think that something was going on with you? Roxanne had recently accompanied them on a trip. What? Roxanne had recently accompanied them on a trip. Okay, so this means to me that she came with them. If this says Roxanne had recently accompanied them on a trip, that means Roxanne came with them. But if I'm not mistaken, Alvin and his wife didn't take the same car. They were in different cars during this trip to Baltimore, because that's where they were going, to Baltimore. So the cousin Roxanne accompanied them. That means that she came along with them to this trip, on this trip. So whose car did Roxanne ride in? Did she ride in Alvin's car? Did she ride in the wife's car? And why did Alvin and the wife take separate vehicles to the family event in Baltimore? They didn't take the same vehicle. It says, and Alvin told his wife that Roxanne wanted to know if he'd find her earrings or found her earrings. So Roxanne, the cousin of the wife, asked Alvin if Alvin found her earrings. Huh? Why is she asking the husband if the husband found her earrings? Why is she asking the husband that? Did she not ask her cousin, which was the wife? So she didn't ask the wife if she saw her earrings? If they were together, if the cousin Roxanne accompanied them on the trip, because we don't know who she rode with at this point. They took separate vehicles. And the wife is having questions about why Roxanne keep blowing up, why she keeps seeing Roxanne's number on the husband's phone. The husband is telling the wife that Roxanne is calling him to ask him if he found her earrings. Why is Roxanne calling him and asking him? Because I see nothing here about Roxanne asking her, which is her cousin, if they all came together. Apparently, Roxanne also stayed in the hotel with them, because they had a hotel when they went to Baltimore. They live in Virginia, but they were going to an event with the family. I think this was in a celebration of a birthday. I think her and her mother have close birthdays, and I think this was a time for them to get together and celebrate the birthday. But they were all coming for this event. So if Roxanne is her cousin, why wouldn't Roxanne be reaching out to Katrina to ask Katrina if she saw her earrings? Why is she asking Alvin, which is the husband? Why is she asking the husband? All right. So according to Alvin, she said, she being the wife said, no, you called her 7 times. 7 times. Why you call her 7 times, Alvin? If this was about earrings, what is the need to call her 7 times? Why are you calling her 7 times? Why did you call her 7 times? And if you called her 7 times, what was the length of time on these calls? Was it for seconds? Was it for minutes? Was it for hours? Like, how long were you talking to her when you called her? Was this a situation where you dialed her back to back? I got questions about this Miss Roxanne person. And I'm questioning the validity of his story. Because I'm not understanding why the cousin is reaching out to the husband instead of the wife, and the wife is her cousin. If they all stayed together in a hotel, it seemed to me that Roxanne would have been asking anybody that was in the room whether or not they seen her earrings. But that to me don't mean calling her 7 times. And why is he calling her 7 times? I'm confused. Okay, so he says, I'm like Trina. I said I was driving back. We lost connection. I was driving back. We lost connection. She called me back. I called her back. Okay, so I think my question is, okay, because it says that the cousin accompanied them. And maybe I'm taking that word differently than someone else. But when you say accompany, that means you came along with them. So she could have rolled with either the husband, who traveled in a separate car than his wife to get to this event, or Roxanne could have traveled with her cousin, which was the wife, Katrina. At this point, we don't really know how involved Roxanne was in this situation, but from the little bit of information that we have, Roxanne was there at the event. The husband spoke to Roxanne. The husband apparently kept calling her for some reason. The husband, now, if this is the reason why the wife got upset, it's probably because she was not clear on something. Something wasn't making sense to her, and she was asking her husband for clarification. Trust me, whether that was in a harsh way, like she was yelling, or because she couldn't understand, or she felt like he was trying to keep something from her, because that could have made her agitated. If he's lying or he's attempting to keep something from her. But to say you call her 7 times back because you were driving and you kept losing connection, so she would call you back and then you would call her back. My question would be, if I was the investigator, I would be looking to see how long these phone calls were. Because if she said you call her 7 times, then that means that I would see from your phone how many times you call her, and I would have to look to see what kind of time we talking about. That's what I would be looking at, because something ain't adding up here. It says, I called her back, and she kept pushing. She, as in the wife. So she's asking you called her 7 times. Why are you calling her 7 times? He's saying it's because he kept losing connection. She was trying to dial him back, and he was trying to dial her back. But that's not what the wife said. Nonetheless, Alvin is trying to say that the wife kept pushing the issue. It's a reason for that. Because if a woman is doing that, she's not clear on something. She's not clear. Something's not clear here. And I was like, leave it alone. There's nothing going on. First of all, you don't get to control your wife's mouth or her mind. You don't get to just tell her to dismiss it, because that's what you're doing when you tell her to leave it alone. There's nothing there. You're dismissing it, and you want her to dismiss it. But you don't get to do that. Even as her husband, that's her mind and that's her mouth. She can talk if she wants. And if something's not clear, from a wife to a husband or a husband to a wife, as the spouse, you are supposed to be the one to clear that air and clear it up. She shouldn't have to ask nobody else. If you're trustworthy, then why would you not make something clear to which your wife is not clear about? That's what I don't understand. Because if this was what the argument was about, and then you gonna tell her to leave it alone, there's nothing there, you're trying to dismiss whatever is going on by telling her to leave it alone. Why in your mind do you believe that that's okay? So what would happen if the shoe was on the other foot and your wife, you found calls in her phone to your cousin? You look at her phone and she done dialed your cousin 7 times. And she gave the same excuse that you gave. And then she tells you, just leave it alone, there's nothing there. How would you take that? I'm sure it wouldn't go well. I picked up so Alvin told the police, I picked up a TV tray. I threw it downstairs, making sure I didn't hit her. This is bullshit right here. I'm calling bullshit on this right here. This is bullshit. This right here is bullshit. I picked up a TV tray. I threw it downstairs, making sure I didn't hit her. You picked up a TV tray, and out of all the places in the house, you threw it downstairs where your wife was. And you're trying to make us believe that you made sure you didn't hit her? This is the same person who rationalized in his mind to go get a fucking gun to end an argument. Hold on, y'all. All right, so I'm back. Okay, so what I was saying was, I don't believe this right here. I picked up a TV tray. I threw it downstairs, making sure I didn't hit her. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that during this argument that you guys were having, that you were that enraged that you picked up a TV tray and you threw it downstairs, nowhere else. You threw it downstairs where you knew she was, and you're telling me that you threw it downstairs, but you made sure not to hit her? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And then it says, bam. I was like, stop. You're pissing me off. This is another reason why I don't believe that he just threw that TV tray downstairs, but made sure not to hit her. That's bullshit. So he's clearly upset enough to throw a TV tray downstairs where his wife was. So I figured if I grabbed my 45 and shot a couple of rounds off in the air, then that would make her shut the blank up. We all know what he's saying here. Now let's look at something else at this point in time. This man is sitting with police and telling police this shit. So he's inside of a room telling police this shit. This is after the fact that his wife is shot. And he's talking as if he's still fucking upset. It's almost like, to me, he's justifying his actions here. That's what I'm getting from what this man is talking about. That the way that he's talking is like he's justifying his actions and reactions up until the point that they reported, they saw that the wife was dead. He's justifying his actions. That is what he's doing as he's talking. That's what I'm getting. You mean to tell me during an argument, which is a time where tensions are running high for both people, that if somebody goes and gets a gun, that's going to be the appropriate resolution or solution to the issue? This is your wife. Why are you even thinking about a gun? Like, this is your wife. Why are you thinking about a gun? And all she did, according to you as the husband, all she did was question you about calls you made to her cousin. That it seemed like you seemed to be festering some hostility behind her questioning you. You didn't want her questioning you about this. You felt like you gave her an answer, and that should suffice. As if she didn't have the mindset, or she wasn't competent enough to know when something didn't seem right. Or as her husband, that's your job to make her feel secure and protected. If she's asking you fucking questions and you give her some la-di-da answers, do you mean to say that because you gave her an answer, why is she still questioning you? Because you seem to get agitated more and more after you gave her that rinky-dink answer and then told her to leave it alone. There was nothing there. And because she didn't, she chose to keep questioning you because she still wasn't satisfied with what you were telling her. It only agitated you more to the point where you pick up a TV tray and you toss it downstairs where she is, but you made sure not to hit her. But then you tell her she's pissing you to stop because she's pissing you off. Then it's like your behavior seems to be escalating here. Your behavior seems to be escalating here. Now, one time did he say what she did to him physically? All he said was it began to get physical. Where is it that he said it began to get physical? On one of these sites, it says that she began to get physical with him. I'm gonna find it, y'all. But on one of these sites, it said that she began to get physical with him. If she began to get physical with you, what did she do? Did you explain what she did to you? What did she do to you that would provoke you to go get a firearm? Because it's clear from just what he is telling the police that his actions are they seem to keep getting worse. What he's doing it went from him trying to, cut her off and stop her from questioning him to, because she didn't do it, now he getting more agitated, he throws a TV tray. And then it says, he's like, well, I'm going to go grab a 45. So his pattern of behavior is escalating here. His aggressiveness is escalating here. Based upon what he said. His emotions are way more ramped up based upon what he's saying. This dude, a grown man, a military vet, says, so I figured if I grabbed my 45 and shot a couple of rounds off in the air, because a gun is a toy, right? We just gonna shoot it off in the fucking air with real bullets in it. Never mind who's in the house, who's around, who had been hit. Then that would make her shut the F up. So you mean to tell me you grabbed this firearm because all you wanted to do was get her to be quiet? You wanted to silence her. That is what I'm hearing you say. That you wanted to silence her. You wanted to silence her because she didn't have a clear understanding about why her cousin was calling you why you were calling her cousin so many times? All of this escalated all the way up to gunfire being fired? What the fuck is that? That is your wife. Couples are supposed to have disagreements and arguments, debates. They're supposed to, but they're also supposed to understand each other so that they can come to a resolution. It's not supposed to end in violence. Y'all were married. Y'all have kids. What would make your actions continue to escalate? Where they kept getting increasingly violent. It started with words. Then it went to you throwing stuff in her direction. To now it's I gotta grab the gun in an attempt to get her to shut the fuck up. No, you intended to silence her. You were trying to silence her. And this bullshit you fed the police is just a story. This is not all inclusive. It's some shit he done left out. And that is my opinion. Alvin claimed he immediately ran to a nearby firehouse for help after realizing Katrina had been hit. You didn't intentionally mean to hit your wife with the gun or the bullets from the gun that you fired. And instead of you picking up the phone and calling 911, you ran to the firehouse. How close is this firehouse? How long did you wait before you ran to the firehouse? Was she still alive when you left her? When you saw blood? Was she still alive? Why didn't you call 911 on your way to the firehouse? I'm trying to figure out why 911 was not called. You should have been trying to get all the assistance you can. Something ain't right here.